Hey everyone, this is Team Albert Bolt and we are from UECE. We recently graduated from UECE and we participated in CodeFury 2.0 as well as in CodeFury 3.0. CodeFury 2.0 was an eye-opener for us because we got to learn a lot from that because we did not win it. We just knew basic web development and we thought we could actually win it. And we took some tips and tricks from CodeFury 2.0 to actually go on and win in CodeFury 3.0, and that was only possible because of the contribution from all the team members. So we are a team of 4 members: myself, Seja Sai Kumar, and Deepak, Rafiuddin, and Navneet Krishnan. As soon as we got the problem statement, we had to come up with an idea which could be really coded in the given time constraints. I was in the backend team and I did the backend part using Django, which is a Python framework, and I chose to work with it because I'd already worked with it before. It's beneficial for you to work with a framework which I've already worked before because you wouldn't want to be searching Stack Overflow for all the small syntax related problems or any other small problem. It's good to work with a framework or a language that you've already worked with because that will let you code faster and even to debug your code faster. So I recommend you to use a framework or a language that you've already worked before rather than using something very new on the day of the hackathon. So the front end part was done by Rafi and Navneet. Now I want them to tell their side of the story.
So hello guys, my name is Rafiuddin and I have worked on the front end part. So we use the React JS for the front end part. The thing about front end is that you can use the component that you have used before, like login page or the buttons or the forms or the tables that you used before, you can use again. So when one of the team was working on the back end, we were constantly working on our front end part separately. We used GitHub where we created the 2 branches from the main branch. One branch for the front end and one branch was for the back end. We were constantly pushing our part of the code to in the front end part while the same was done by the back end team. So that's how we got our project as a whole by the end of the day.
Hey guys, I'm Navneet Krishnan. So I worked on the UI part along with Rafi. So one of the things that helps us the most while developing the front end is creating a mockup before jumping into the coding part. The benefit of creating a mockup for the UI is that we'll get a clear aim of what to make so that we won't need to backtrack while coding if we don't reach a required user interface. And we should talk to the backend team and finalize on the API since we are developing an application which will primarily be on REST as most of you would build. Getting a knowledge of what the API would look like is highly beneficial and is required while creating the CRUD services. And you should also reuse the components by modularizing them so that you will reduce the development time as much as possible and thus make the UI as good as possible.
So now we looked upon the front end part and the back end part, and the front end and the back end together make a project. But that is one part of the hackathon. But the most important part is also the presentation, because if you cannot present it well to the judges, then the judges won't understand your project, and the chances of you winning the hackathon will be obviously lesser than the teams who had a great presentation. So our presentations were handled by Deepak, like all the PPT presentations and all the business model related topics were handled by Deepak. So Deepak can tell his side of the story.
Hi guys, I am Deepak and I worked on creating the business model for our solution and also on the presentation part. So initially we created a roadmap for building our RESTful services to stay relevant in the long run. A roadmap is very necessary because it gives you a clear idea about how the progress should be. Then comes the demo part. So demo lets your prospects understand your solution, how your solution truly solves their pain points. A good demo should tell a customer story with a product playing the key role. You should be able to give a demo with the main focus as your application. In a good demo, we should be able to communicate all our implemented features in the given time constraint. We demonstrated our application with a real-time example, which makes it easy to understand to the audience. Yeah, when a demo is completed, then comes the house for questions, where usually audience and judges ask a couple of questions or maybe some long questions, and you should be able to answer all their queries, whether it's about design or backend or any about the future enhancement or about the technology stack. You should be able to answer all their queries.
So now we know the stories behind the front end team, the back end team, and also the presentation team. So these 3 aspects are really important part of the hackathon. And if you can ace these three things, then surely be the winner of the hackathon. But then being a winner of the hackathon is not the most important thing. Participating in the hackathon is the most important thing, because hackathons are a place to grow connections. And when you're working with a team, you will know what the team is good at, or you'll know what the other person is good at. Maybe the other person is good in front end, or maybe the other person is good in back end. You may be good in front end, and the other person is good in back end. So you may get something to learn from him or her, which is the most important part of the hackathon. Winning is not the most important part. Participating and learning from the hackathon is the most important part. And if you learn properly, then maybe you can win it in the next time too. That's why just concentrate on the learnings more than concentrating on the winning. Okay, this is how you should be in a hackathon. You should let your mind free, and you should let the ideas flow, so that you'll get some good ideas, and you'll be able to code the idea in the given time. So these are the tips and tricks and all the stories that Team Albert Bold had for the people who are attending the hackathon. Thank you.